Hello, it is Anna from the UK. I'm not really from the UK, I'm just in the UK right now. But for the Q&A that I posted a couple days ago, first question is from Starting with Stars. He said, "Hi there, I've been curious, when should a lifter train with the safety squat bar? That is, what kinds of problems does it solve regarding relative weakness or training logistics?" Honestly, I would start training with the safety squat bar once you're actually proficient in the squat with the straight bar. And then once you are, you could use it for, I guess you could use it for max effort days, you could use it for high volume days. It really just helps you sit back. If you are bad at that, it'll probably crush you. It'll fold you right out of the bottom like a pancake. So you don't have to use it. I wouldn't say that you have to use it to actually get better at the squat. It's just a training tool, usually for advanced lifters or like, I don't know, I guess like intermediate to advanced lifters. But yeah, so if you're in a meet prep, I probably wouldn't use it just because it's not specific to the movement that's being done on the platform. It's just used to train weaknesses. So there's that. Thank you. You're pretty cool. You follow me and you've been following me for a while, so thank you very much. All right, Anonymous said, when it comes to eating, what do you think is the best approach? Is it clean eating, IFYM, or just eating whatever you want? The best approach is probably clean eating, as long as you're eating a lot of clean foods. But to be honest with you, I don't do that. I just eat whatever I want. I was following a ketogenic diet a couple weeks ago, and back in November, but it was kind of hard to follow with all the traveling. And then I sweat a lot when I do like physical activity. It was really hard to stay hydrated, super hard. And I don't think I was getting enough vitamins and minerals. Granted, that could have been taken care of probably with supplementation, but I'm not a huge fan of that. So I don't know, I was just losing water left and right. So I felt a lot better having carbs in my system and being able to train. Even like max effort days is where I really saw the biggest impact, which people would usually think intensity in terms of like reps and things is where you would see it best. But most of the studies I looked at for the ketogenic diet anyway were geared towards endurance athletes. So even marathon runners, because your primary source is fats. So once you run out of carbs, which you do the quickest, I think within the first 15 to 20 minutes, you like switch into fat using mode, because like the intake of your carbs, you don't use all the glycogen immediately. Your body switches to fat within those minutes. So really favors endurance athletes anyway. And I'm not really an endurance athlete, although the speed of my lifts could be coined as endurance. But so yeah, just do whatever you want. Eat semi-clean if you want to eat. If you eat one cookie every day, it's not going to kill you. You're not going to be fat all of a sudden, as long as you're putting in the work and eating, good sources. Like, you need a lot of protein if you're lifting. You need a lot of carbs on your intense lifting days. I think counting your macros, I think a lot of people excel in that, and I think they find it a little bit easier because it's super general. Like if your goal for the day is 250 carbs, I think if you get like 300 carbs, like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I'm not too big on nutrition. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you. People cry because they eat a piece of cake, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'll eat yours. I don't care. Next question. I'd welcome some tips or ideas how to choose training splits or make my own training plan, since I have no experience in it. If you have no experience in it, do not make your own. I would highly recommend finding a coach who has a background in it, knows what they're doing, either excels himself or has athletes that are excelling. Or if you don't want to do that, do a lot of research, pick a plan and stick to it. So you've got like Cube, Starting Strength, 531. I don't know, there's a million others, Small Love, whatever. There's a million that are on the internet that you could probably just find and follow it. And as long as you stick to it, don't like do it for 4 weeks and then be like, oh, this isn't working, and then just stop. Find one, stick to it for like a year. Okay. And then once you finally learn your body, that's the most important point, is learning your body and seeing what lifts work for you and what doesn't. A lot of people are huge fans of like working in like pause squats or something, where for me probably isn't the best idea, because coming out of the hole is probably my weakest point. So I would benefit a little more maybe from doing like a speed day or like a box squat, like with light weights, just to work that it depends on the person. So find a training plan, stick to it for a year, learn your body, learn what works for you, and then you can pick it apart, add in days, take out days, do what you feel is necessary. That probably won't come within the first year, but it's just, you need experience yourself. So I probably wouldn't write your own at first, just because you don't really know too much. Find people who do, or find training plans that you see people doing and follow it. What's that saying? There's a million ways to skin a cat, or whatever. So just because some person used a cube and, did so good, doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Just like me, like I do predominantly like a West Side way / conjugate. So I know some people can't max out that often, and it's not for them, so, which is completely fine. It works for a lot of people, but not all people. So find what works for you. And YouTube is huge. You could probably YouTube West Side or conjugate, or I don't know, Brandon Lilly, whatever, the cube. Find people doing movements, and you can learn them correctly. That's a big point too, is to learn the movements correctly, practice them, and then get into like the whole programming thing. And then once you're advanced enough, there's different movements. You can conjugate movements. So assistants are a huge part. Like, I'm not a fan of people who just go in and squat and then leave, or go in and squat and bench and deadlift and then leave. It's like, well, no, you have to work all the accessory muscles, the little muscles, the things that you don't hit when you're doing those lifts, or at least not like primarily hit. So yeah, make sure you do your homework. It takes a long time to figure out what works for you. Believe me, I've been doing it for like 11 years and I still don't know what works for me. No, I know the majority of the things, but as far as like my weaknesses go, there's still different things that I need to tweak and find how to fix. Okay. Thick hips and deadlifts said, my bench technique is crumbling once I go over 80% of my max. Boyfriend says my leg drive sucks, but it's just not clicking for me. I'm female, hypermobile, an amateur powerlifter for 2 years. Thanks for being open to questions. Oh, you're welcome. Cool name, by the way. My bench technique is crumbling once I go over 80% of my max. Honestly, I would say you could do different things. Smart thing to do would be train at 80% for more sets and fewer reps. So, what were you saying the other day? My boyfriend is sitting right here with me, and we were talking about this the other day. A lot of people think to fix your technique, you should do like, oh, well, let's back off of the weight and go like 3 sets of 10. When really, if you want to practice an ideal technique, you would want to hold a load that you would best need the most advantageous position to lift. It would put you in a good position. So what do you think? He won't come in the picture, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, just increase the sets so that you get more practice at setting up. And the leg drive thing just might actually be the setup and getting tight in the first place, because if you're using leg drive at some point, then you're soft and you don't want that. You want a tight body from foot to hand to effectively transfer the power. But just more sets, reduce the reps. So maybe 7 sets of 3 or 10 sets of 3, and really just drilling the setup.
Yes. So hypermobile, that's probably, I mean, it should be a good thing in terms of if you're arching. If you're not arching, then it should still be a good thing in terms of getting your feet under you. You want your heels pushing through the floor when you're setting up on the bench press. It's very hard to describe if I can't show it to you. But you do want to be driving your hips through the floor, heels through the floor, and that'll kind of put you in position. It'll keep your hips tight. It'll keep your lower back tight. And helps get you in position. Your upper back, of course, needs to be pinched. And when you take out the bar, you just need to make sure everything is tight in your shoulders, upper back. But yeah, definitely just back off the sets. Back off the reps, increase the sets. So instead of doing like 3 sets of 10, you'd be better off doing 10 sets of 3. Still the same amount of volume, but your reps and repetitions will be a little more, you'd benefit from that a little bit more. Also, if that's not even working, then switch to look at your assistant's work. try to strengthen your stabilizers. That could be it too, whether it's hips or shoulders. So both you want to work on. And like I said, there's like many exercises on the internet and especially on YouTube that you can look at. Even on my page, I post a lot of things with like hanging kettlebells, things that really help your stability, whether it be in the hips, the shoulder, the ankle. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you need any more help or want to send me videos, please do that and I can try and help as much as I can. I know that would be a little bit more helpful. MKB0405 said, thoughts on slow deadlifts and squats. You would take 4 seconds rising and 4 seconds lowering the bar. Creates a lot of time under tension. My thoughts on them? Well, my thoughts on that immediately come to Mark Bell, because that's what we just watched. Him and Silent Mike were doing them. Were they called Cohen deadlifts?
Cohen deadlift is fast and centric and then slow and centric.
Oh, okay. So slow and slow. Okay, so just slow. They definitely have their place in your training. It can definitely help you put you in like a better position, and strengthen you in certain positions. So, and I can imagine, especially for deadlifting, that it's really going to help strengthen your core, which a lot of people ignore anyway. So, but I would say use it as a supplemental lift or secondary lift. Don't go in trying to max out at your 4 second up, 4 second down deadlift, because guess what? No one cares how much you can hold for 8 seconds. So yeah, that's my thoughts, and it's cool. I mean, it's a way to train it. So if people are creating new ways to lift, go ahead and try it out. See if it works for you. I have not tried them out because Lord knows I do not need to slow down my lifting anymore. It already looks like it's in slow motion when I play it. Okay. 3 times a week is not frequent enough training. Question mark. Okay. I'm guessing you're saying, is 3 times a week frequent enough? Of course it is, yeah. If you're just a power lifter, I don't know if you're competing or if you're just lifting to lift, of course it's enough. I believe twice a week is enough to maintain strength. So 3 times a week, definitely if you're a power lifter, obviously all 3 lists would be covered. If you have specific days rather than upper and lower, just do squat day, bench day, deadlift day would be great. Or you could do upper and lower and then a bodybuilding day or general fitness day. That would be fine. If you're competing, sorry. Living in the UK has messed up my use of the English language. If you're competing, you probably would want to make it 4 days. Just because that seems to be the best split. I know people who train that compete and they train like 4 to 8 times a week. So yeah, I would do at least, so then you can have 2 upper and 2 lower, and one could be like a primary focus or like a heavy day, and the other one could be more of an assistant work or a speed day. Yeah. How long did you train until you started seeing results in your appearance? Oh gosh. Well, that's a hard question because I've maintained the same weight since I was like 11. I started out when I was 11 in like 165-pound class. I was a little chubby guy, or girl. But it was, I think when I was, so 11 to 13, it also had a lot to do with maturity. So not just lifting, is when I saw like I was 180 pounds, but I looked a little bit leaner. And then 13 to 16 is when other people saw it. So when I remember sophomore year, I came back like to track and field the next year, and everyone was like, "Oh, you look so much leaner. Be a sprinter." So yeah, but I never trained for appearance. So seeing the results usually wasn't like, I don't know. I was never really looking at myself in terms of like, I don't compare my looks with my lifting unless it's to make weight for something or to fit in my suit or briefs. But yeah, I would imagine if, I don't know, if you want to, you just have to manipulate your training. If you're doing it for appearance, and you sometimes you can't always be training for strength then, if you want to be leaner or something. That's not saying that it's impossible, because I have gotten leaner while getting stronger. But it's just, I don't train with that goal in mind, so it's not really in my head all the time. But I do know that when I'm mixing in my running with my lifting, and I have like everything. I do everything as it should be without things getting in the way. That's when I'm my leanest, and that's when I'm my strongest, because my prep for the GPC Worlds, I was still running every day almost, and sprinting 3 times a week. So, and while I did really good at least in the equipped, I PR'd in the squat. Bench, I almost PR'd. Deadlift wasn't the best, but still, you just have to, like I said before, you have to find what works for you. And if you have different goals, you have to manipulate your training. If you do, in fact, want to get leaner and the lifting isn't enough, then you're probably going to have to add in some form of cardio. And it doesn't have to be running. It could be rowing or biking. It doesn't even have to be machine cardio. It could be something like, what's going on in the background? Something like supersetting your resistance then, or doing something of higher intensity to like raise your heart rate, or just do a couple sprints even. And by the way, we're not obviously, we're powerlifters, not CrossFitters, but I was making him watch some Brooke Ends workouts because I admire her work ethic and training style and aesthetics. Okay, I said it. But, so yeah, that's why that's happening in the background. Okay, how often do you train? I do predominantly the 4 days a week training split, like West Side, max effort, upper and lower, and then dynamic, upper and lower. But I also usually, sometimes if I have a hard like bench evening, like this week, all I did is bench, and then I think I did some like chest flies because it took like 2 hours for all of us to bench together. And then the next day, he was laughing because he hates how long it takes, and he's not an equipped lifter, and he was in his shirt as well. So, but he does good. He does. Now you made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, so we did our lower body assistance Tuesday morning. So that ended up bringing, I think, did I squat on? Yeah, I did squat on Tuesday. So I had a 2-a-day on Tuesday. I did my upper body assistance in the morning, and then I did a full lower body workout at night. And I think I did conditioning. I did some sprints, so it ended up being like a 3-a-day. But I usually do around 8 to 10 workouts a week. So predominantly powerlifting is the 4-day-a-week split, but then also if we're doing special exercise days during that week, or we have to split up training into primary movements and accessories, like split between days, it ends up being like 5 to 6 consecutive days. So it's a hard question. I don't recommend, if I'm training a powerlifter, I do not recommend they do what I do. Never. How I train is for me. It's not how I train other people. So, okay. Hey, I just started going to the gym and I have already gained almost 10 pounds in 4 months. Am I bulking too fast or something? No, go you. That's awesome. 10 pounds. 10 pounds in 4 months. I could gain 10 pounds in like 2 weeks, probably. I mean, really, by just eating food, I could do it in like 3 days, but yeah, that's not too fast. That is very good. Hopefully you're eating enough to fuel your workouts. Some people do tend to overeat, and that ends up bulking them too fast. But if you're talking about 10 pounds, there's nothing bulk about that. So yeah, you're fine. You're doing it at a very good pace, I think. And if you're worried that it's like fat, I don't know, what is bulky? Does it mean muscly or fat? Okay. Then just clean up your diet a little bit. Stop eating so many donuts.
The best way to measure bulking is just your body composition. Just make sure you're not gaining fat faster than muscle.
Yes, very true. But a lot of people don't have access to accurately measure that. Even calipers aren't the best.
No, true.
Thank you, Exercise Tech 2. I had the advantage of using university things, like, because I still work at a university, so we have a DEXA scanner, which is really cool. That accurately measures your body fat and muscle ratios, and also a bod pod. And I believe we have hydrostatic weighing, but we never used it. I don't want to use it anyway. But no, you're not bulking too fast. That's completely fine. Do not worry about that. I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, because it's anonymous. If you're a boy, I'm telling you, bulk harder. But if you're a girl, that's a very good pace. What exactly does more volume means in terms of hypertrophy?
More volume means more.
More volume means more volume. So more of something, obviously. No, that is a very good question, though. More volume in terms of hypertrophy. So your goal being to increase muscle mass.
So you displace more volume in the hypertrophy like bracket of percentages. So you're doing more between 70 and 80% than you would upwards of that.
Exactly. So you'd want to stay within the range of like 70 to 80, maybe 83% if you wanted a more intense workout. And you could, well, it depends. You could increase, see, you could, like we said before, you could do 10 sets of 3, you could do 3 sets of 10. You know, obviously 10 sets of 3 wouldn't be a good enough workout if you're at like 70%.
Yeah. So typically like muscle building, I guess, is from like 7 to 12 reps. So just increase your sets of that. But if you're struggling for time or recovery from doing too much in one session, then split the sessions over 2. Because it's weekly volume is the factor, not your volume per session. So if you can get more across the week from doing more frequent sessions and do that, that'll aid more growth than it would just trying to cram it all into one and rushing.
Exactly. So yes, obviously, if you're working for hypertrophy, you're not going to go and max out and do heavy singles. A lot of powerlifters, people look at powerlifters and say, oh, well, look at them, you know, they're just doing maxes every time, and they look, yeah, well, their assistance work is actually very good as well. That's where most of their volume and reps are coming from, is from either secondary lifts and supplemental work. So it's not all coming from their 1RM squat. That's not why they look like a bodybuilder. Or it could come from other things, other supplements. Okay, when squatting, is it preferable to keep the knees steady, or is it a bit of lateral movement as you're applying pressure to keep them from collapsing inward acceptable? As you're applying pressure to keep them from collapsing. So the lateral movement is going out then. Well, yeah, lateral, medial. This is where me and my boyfriend disagree. And a lot of people, because they see Dan Green squatting and he goes down and then comes up, and the knees come like right at that little sticking point, and then he comes up. And I guess that's kind of the leverage that gets him through that point. I do not believe any lifter should be training like that, especially a novice. They should get proficient in the movement. You should be somewhere over like an intermediate level power lifter before you start doing things like that. I don't think, because if you start training like that, then it could potentially build a weakness or build bad habits for when you're holding heavier weight. What do you think?
A little bit of internal rotation in the knee is desirable because it creates greater quad engagement, and especially for a raw lifter. See, raw it's okay if it's brief, or equipped, then absolutely not.
Oh yeah, very good point. If you're raw, that's when most likely you're talking about raw, because who even does equip lifting anymore? This girl. Definitely not equipped. Everything needs to be completely tight. Need to be pointing in the same direction the entire time during the lift. But yeah, so I don't know. There's so much movement. Make sure you have something around your knees. I don't want to see anybody getting hurt. Your thoughts of proper implementation of a glute ham deck, GHD. I'm guessing you mean glute ham deck, right? GHD.
Yeah.
That's really all it could mean. In a deadlift program.
We've got a GHR over here on the side of the pond.
That's glute ham raise.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, that's the movement. The glute ham deck is what the movement's being completed on.
Really?
Yeah.
I just got a GHR machine.
Well, yeah. Anyway, proper implementation. There is no really proper, because I don't think there's really any improper way to use it. That's a lie. Don't listen to me. Do all the glute ham raises, all of them. You can never have overly strong hamstrings, believe me. A lot of time people, I wish I could demonstrate it. If this is the glute ham deck, they'll come over and go all the way down and then fling themselves back up, which is more of a lower back workout than it is working your hamstrings. So make sure when you come over, you go like to parallel with it and then come back up. A lot of times it's hard if the foot where you put your feet in doesn't move. So then if this is the seat and your feet are down here, then it's really hard to come up to parallel. Or even if it's higher, same thing. It makes the movement a lot, well, if it's higher, it makes the movement harder, which is actually good if you're able to do it that way. But a lot of people can't. So just make sure you're coming to about parallel. I actually just posted a video today on Instagram showing how to do glute ham deck back extensions with holding like a bar with a snatch grip. But you could also do it with a row, so you could come up and then row the bar. I also took that from Laura Phelps on her Instagram. She posted one like that as well. So if you go and follow like Conjugate Nation or anything on YouTube that shows you how to correctly implement that for different exercises, not just glute ham raises or back extensions, it could really help you in ways that you never thought. But yeah, do them on deadlift. I would do them on deadlift day, definitely, and do them on your squat day. You could put a band around your neck, or you could put a chain around your neck. You could hold a plate or a dumbbell. You could do holds, static holds. You could come down, hold it, and then come back up. There's different ways to do it. You could definitely YouTube it and look it up. Or if you want me to post any videos, just message me again and I'll post anything. So yeah. That's it. Thank you so much for asking all of the questions. I really appreciate it. I hope you appreciate the powerlifting that's going on now. I'll try to do these maybe once a month because I know it's hard to do them so often because there's so many questions. I was surprised when I got this many and we're already coming at like 30 minutes. So thank you so much. And I hope everybody stays strong and healthy, no injuries. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me.